For someone to just claim to be a Mandalorian, it isn't that easy. There are certain guidelines to follow in order to include oneself a part of the warrior society, or way of life. And being a Mandalorian isn't always what people think it is. A clan can't just say another clan isn't Mandalorian. That isn't how it works either. I use this comparison a lot, but being a Mandalorian is much like being a Christian. One sect thinks it's the true Christianity. Protestants and Catholics fight over who is more Christian, and so do Baptists and Pentecostals. However, there are ways to raise your children as future Mandalorians while you yourself live the Mandalorian lifestyle. I'll be talking about how to become a Mandalorian today on Star Wars Fanatic. If you haven't done so yet, get off your keister and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all my Mandalorian and general Star Wars content. Also, pull the thumb on that like button to show your love for the hard work I put into each video. Okay, on with the topic. Being a Mandalorian is a lot of work. Training, and more training. Not to mention the teachings. One false move and bam, you're a Darmonda. Or soulless in the eyes of the Mandalorian religion. But it all started with the Tau, an ancient race of beings who were driven from Coruscant. They settled on what's now known as Mandalore and became one of the fiercest cultures in galactic history. The current Mandalorians, who practice the ways of the ancient Tau, in the same light. Don't mess with a Mandalorian unless you know for a fact you can win. But most people are mistaken, even a lot of the Jedi. Becoming a Mandalorian isn't too difficult. You only have to have a willingness to join their culture. Any race can be a Mandalorian as long as they follow the guidelines, and the guidelines are easy to keep up with, on paper. I won't talk about the Canons of Honor nor the Super Commando Codex. Those aren't as widely used. But what I will talk about is the Rezulnare. I have made other videos about this, but in this case, I'm going to be a little bit hypothetical. Do you have what it takes to be a Mandalorian? Well, let's take a look at the Rezulnare and you can decide. The Rezulnare is the core of what it means to be a Mandalorian. Rezulnare is Mandoa for the 6 tenets of the Mandalorian culture. But to give you a grasp of the language, Mandoa is the language of Mandalorians. Galactic Basic is generally considered English in our own world, although the writing is much different. But Mandoa is completely different. I thought it was important to bring that up. Okay, so the Rezulnare is such. 1. Speak the language. As I mentioned above, the language is Mandoa. You don't have to be fluent in it, but you do have to be actively working toward that. Learning the language and using it consistently is a big deal. 2. Wear the armor. The Mandalorian armor is sacred. Made of Beskar steel, it protects a Mandalorian from almost anything. I say almost because there are things like solid rounds that can penetrate the armor. However, lightsabers have to find a gap in the armor. The armor is so sacred because the only 2 planets known to have Beskar are Mandalore and its moon Concordia. So, wear the armor with pride. Serve the clan is number 3. That means your family. Your clan is your lifeline. If you dishonor them, you will be left on your own. The first step of serving a clan is deciding to be a Mandalorian at the age of 13. You are then considered an adult and expected to follow not just the Rezulnare, but your clan creed as well. Number 4. Rally behind your Mandalore when called. The Mandalore is the Mandalorian leader. He or she is the governing body of the people. When the Mandalore calls, you answer. This was not the case during the Mandalorian Civil War, but I will get into that a little later. Number 5. Defend your children. This is pretty self-explanatory. Your children are the future of your clan. If you don't protect them, no one else should be expected to either. Number 6. Raise your children as Mandalorians. This is the biggest reason you protect your children. They are not just the future of your clan, but they are the future of Mandalore as a whole. Not only your children, but if you happen upon a child that has been orphaned, that child is to be brought into your clan to be raised as a Mandalorian. Okay, So that seems pretty simple, right? Well, it can be, but we all know how Mandalorians are and how they love to fight amongst themselves. Why? Well, I'll go back to my religious analogy from our own world. All religions believe they are the only correct religion. Mandalorian clans are the same way. They believe their clan creed is the real creed. A couple examples of this are Din Djarin. If anyone took their helmet off around him, he claimed them not to be Mandalorian, even though that rule is only for the clan and organization he belongs to. After removing his helmet, he absolutely can put it back on. There is nothing in the Rezulnari about never showing one's face. Wearing the armor? Yes. Removing the helmet? Not so much. That was a clan thing. The other is Prime Minister Almec. He frequently denounced Mandalorians for not believing what he believed. He ultimately sided with Maul as the puppet ruler of Mandalore. So, yeah, consider the source. Darmonda is a little trickier. In the Mandalorian religion, this term means a Mandalorian has become soulless because he or she doesn't follow the Rezulnari, and they don't intend to. Being a Darmonda is a fate worse than death. However, who is judging whether someone is Darmonda? That's for the afterlife to decide. In life, they know deep down if they are a Mandalorian or not. An example of a Darmonda would be, say, Tor Vizsla, and even Pre-Vizsla. Why? They didn't rally behind their Mandalore. The former should have followed Jaster Muriel, and the latter should have followed Jango Fett. Instead, they made war with them. But that's all I have for now. What do you think? Do you have what it takes to be one of the meanest SOBs in the galaxy? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and like the video. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.